Welcome to the 2023 Rankings GASOCAST edition. I'm your host, Ryan Massett. I'm joined by Michael Timmons, Blues Tucci. We dropped these rankings last Thursday, but we wanted to make sure we had a busy weekend with the Thompson, Texas and DFW Fall Classic, but we wanted to make sure come back and make sure and hit and talk about these guys. Before we jump into the players, though, want to make sure you're following us on social media at Texas Hoops GASO. Give us a follow. You're going to get all the content, all the news, everything that's going on in the Texas high school basketball world. And then go to YouTube, Texas Hoops TV, and subscribe. This man right here puts out great game recaps. And then our GASOcast is obviously on here. So like it, subscribe, get all the action. Yeah. We're just going to jump right in. Top 10, number 10, Drew Steffe, Blue, go.
I think underrated as a passer.
Yeah.
Really goes out, hits shots from obviously the perimeter, but he can also take a little bit of pressure off of his point guard Isaiah Foster by taking the ball, distributing it. He's at 6'6" right now. So he can see over the defense and get the ball over the defense. I think there's a lot to like about his game, and he's very vocal. There's just so much. There's a lot of packaged up overall with Drew Steffe's game that we all like, and shooters win you ball games.
Yeah, and I think he cracks his top 10 because he's not just a knockdown shooter. He's using his size to his advantage. Like you said, he's a really, really good passer, super high IQ, and just a productive guy. And you see it in the stat sheet with rebounding, assisting, and scoring.
Yeah. Number 9, Jaland Lowe. Go ahead and join the fan club like me. I always talk about
Jalen. President.
I was a coach for 5 years, and the point guard is for sure an extension of you. And there is not many better than this guy. He just makes correct decisions all the time. He knocks down shots. He's getting longer. He's starting to fill out, starting to look like a young man. And he's played at very high levels, and you can always just count on him to be a steady guard. And now he's scoring the ball consistently. I love what I'm seeing from Jaland Lowe. He is still flying under the radar. I don't know how. Guy's phenomenal. Moving into number 8, Cam Barnes.
Yeah, healthy again. I think that's what we like to talk about with guys where, he might have been a little underrated, but I think that's just because of some of the injuries that he was unfortunate with. Now you start to see the full package. 6'10", can shoot it from the short corner, stretch it to the 3. Already knew he could run the floor very well. His hands are starting to really get good inside. While he's still that lean build, he's physical. He's trying to dunk on you. He's trying to be a nasty inside instead of just kind of leaking out to the perimeter. And I think that's a benefit to, the way Duncanville plays. He knows he's going to have to play inside, but also at the same time, Coach David Peavy rewards him for playing hard inside and is able to show some of his guard skills. I think Cam Barnes is still one of those guys that has a lot of room to grow, not only this ranking, but as a national prospect.
You can almost look at him and circle him as a guy that could be top 3, top 2, 1 in this class because of the huge ceiling that he has. Not just because he can touch it, but that wingspan. And you mentioned that the short corner is one of the toughest shots, especially for him, because he can put his back to the basket, catch it, turn around, face up, and hit that 15-footer. And that is such a little deadly stroke that he has to his game.
Moving into number 7, Jamyron Keller. His improvement just continues to come. You look at him and you see the strong build. He can play that combo guard. He can play point. He can play off the ball. But the improvement is coming in his shot. He is knocking down shots consistently now. That is what I like to see from a guy like that. You could throw him in a college practice right now, and the dude is going to go compete. He does everything from an intangible standpoint, and now that his skill is really starting to refine, look out, sky's the limit for Jamyron Keller. I think he is a very high floor guy too. You know what you're getting with
Absolutely.
him. Period, end of story. You're getting a lockdown defender, and you're getting a dude that competes night in and night out. Love me some Jamyron Keller. Number 6, Kendrick Deluna. We talk about his feet all the time.
Oh yeah, the hands, the footwork, obviously the target that he brings at 6'9", 6'10". He has a little soft, little over-the-shoulder scoring ability. He's a guy that can get up and down the court, and his position is so valuable, as we know, that everybody's always looking for bigs, but he's a guy that has developing skill inside, and it just becomes a big target that takes up a lot of room. And you know what? He mixes it up. He's going to go rebound. He knows he's not going to be a 15-footer, a 3-point jump, 3-point shooter, or a catch and shoot. but he is going to stay inside the middle and he's going to do his job.
And I'll say, and sorry to interrupt you,
You're
but in a week where college coaches are able to travel around to these different campuses, there's been a lot of buzz down at that TMI school in San Antonio led by Coach Bruce Bowen, and I've seen a lot of high major coaches popping their head in there to get a look at Kendrick.
Yeah, and I think what you want in bigs nowadays are not only on the offensive side, these guys who can score, but guys on defense who, when they do have to switch, Kendrick can use his length and his foot speed to switch out on guys. I remember when he was a sophomore playing in a pretty big game at the GASO, and he switched on to a pretty good guard, and he's just moving his feet, staying in front, contesting the shot. Like, man, that kid's going to be special just because of those aspects right there, the way he moves at that size.
A high IQ big man there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to love it.
That's a great point because that's what you need from the big man to be out there to hedge, to be able to switch on the guard.
Yeah, to be multiple,
Right.
to fit into any defensive scheme. Number 5, KJ Lewis. Built guard, gets to the hole, pull up, can give you all the points you need.
He's all world out there in El Paso, but guess what? The nation has seen what we've known about him. And KJ is going to be the guy that's going to take the ball up the court through coast to coast through traffic, finish with a dunk, finish with 3-pointers. He's going to guard you. He's got a lot of the tools that you need from a guard, a versatile guard, because he's able to play all 3 positions out there at El Paso Chapin, and you're going to be able to go out there and see every aspect of him.
Number 4, Chris Johnson. Sky's the limit for this prospect.
Yeah, man, probably one of the best playmakers in this class. Can really pass it. I think he's maybe one of the best passers on this list. We already know the energy, how good he is coast to coast, transition, able to score, dunk, all that stuff. I think one thing that valued Chris this summer was playing up with that Houston Hoops 17U squad, and while sometimes he gets a little too erratic at times, this summer he was able to play a role and play around a whole bunch of really good players that I think allowed him to box it all in, and he was still phenomenal. Super upside, but I think he kind of cleaned up a lot of the stuff where it's a little more no nonsense with him.
Yeah.
He was able to finish more efficiently. I mean, he's still a show in transition, throwing lobs to guys, dunking on people. But I still think, I think this summer really benefited him to where he's going to be more of an efficient playmaker and doing all the stuff that we'd like to see more consistently.
When he's locked in, he's just gifted with the ball. Watch his passing ability. It's pretty special with the ball in his
good.
Number 3, Jacoby Walter. I've just seen the improvement scoring the ball consistently from anywhere on the floor.
Yeah, he has a lot of confidence behind the 3-point line. And when he gets that going, it opens up his game because now he's able to keep the defense off balance, take 1-2 dribbles, get inside the yard, knock down that mid-range jumper.
And I think at 6'5", 6'6", he has a little bit of quiet to his game where he knows how to get to his spots. We saw this weekend at the Paul GASO where he was able to get to his spots in the mid-range and at that size shoot over defender. He kind of knows where he wants to go, and you see his frame starting to fill out. His legs are starting to fill out, his shoulders, and his overall body at a scoring guard like that where we saw him kind of a little lean and able to get pushed around a lot. He's not really getting pushed around as much anymore. And like I said, he knows where he's going and he knows to get to his scoring spots.
It's a smooth game.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2, Wesley Yates. Big, strong, has a nose or just a knack for knocking down shots. And, he's starting to explode off the ground now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was kind of a thing for a little while, but now you're starting to see it all come together with the athleticism, the scoring ability. Who doesn't like watching Wesley Yates?
Putting him at number 2, he was really pushing Ronald Holland.
Yeah.
I mean, it's by inches. And Wesley, I think, really made the statement at TABC. Well, starting back at the GASO Memorial Weekend, flowed into the TABC, and then, of course, into July that the college coaches were just raving about him because he can do so much for your team. He's going to be able to handle it as the lead guard. He's going and running the lane, catch, shoot. When he doesn't have that shot, he can blow by you. And like you said, the explosiveness to the basket is very powerful.
Yeah, he's able to finish with both hands now. And, we wanted to see when you're not scoring from the perimeter, how are you able to affect the game? And now he's able to attack the rim, finish with his strong body. And like we talked about when we look at this list, maybe when he has it going, scoring-wise, there's not a better scorer in the country. I mean, he can get 30 quickly. And he's just really fun to watch when that shot's falling.
And rounding out our top 10, Ronald Holland, number 1, Duncanville. We can go on for days about this guy, but when he's kind of settled into this I'm going to get my hand on every offensive rebound. I'm going to grab every defensive rebound. I'm going to finish everything around the rim. And if one of my awesome guards has it, I'm going to stand in the corner, and you're going to have to respect my shot because I can make it. Look out. This guy is rounding into form of what we're going to see in the future with Ron Holland.
And I think some of the slack we get is, okay, with Ron Holland, how is he ranked so high for just being an energy guy? I think he's added pace to his game where he knows how to run and explode down the court and when to play fast and when to score. He knows when he's in the scoring zone. He slows down a little, he's able to finish with both hands. And that's what we looked at. He's so much more efficient when he has the ball in his hands in the paint scoring. We also know, he's high energy, but he's taking full advantage of his energy plays and making every possession count.
And one thing to piggyback off what you're saying is when you have a guy that is a coach's dream, as he is, you can't penalize him for not going out there and scoring 30 when he's playing at Duncanville, where anybody on any given night can get you 20, 25 points. He's filling in a role and not having to be the superstar out there. I think that needs to be said because we always talk about how he is a leader out there. He'll take on that leadership role and get you 8 points, but he has 12 boards and 4 blocks.
Yeah.
And he has a key defensive stop along the way. I think he started showing really his scoring ability was in the USA basketball. I mean, those are things that we kind of keep tabs on too. You see the 28 points, 14 rebounds against whoever he's playing against at that particular time. And those types of stats, they're going to translate to the next level because of that energy, because he's relentless and continues to work.
And we have to keep note, he's a gamer. In big games, starting back from when he played with the junior NBA, from going 8th grade into 9th grade year, on Fox Sports, ran through that. That's where he kind of earned his 5 stars. If you go and look at events like the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest, or the state tournament, or as recently, like we said, the USA and Peach Jam championship game where he almost had 30, maybe did have 30, on ESPN. I mean, when it's a big moment, he plays really well in the bright lights.
And I'll say this, don't get sick of the 20 and pins.
Yeah.
Like, just don't get sick of it. That's just what he does. And I know you know, kind of like when Russell Westbrook was getting these triple doubles all the time, it was like, oh yeah, you got another triple. No, that is a big deal to constantly provide that for your team. And it's pretty obvious right now why he's our number one. Moving into our next wave of players from 11 to 100. There's some guys in here who've just continually gotten better, moved up the ranks. Kaden Gumbs is one of those guys. Electric at TABC, great at the EYBL. I love me some Kaden Gumbs.
So do I, and I think he was a confident basketball player to begin with. Now he's even more confident with his offensive game. We already like his size and stature from that lead guard position, but his ability to create off the bounce, knock down the perimeter shot at a much, much higher clip opens up the whole floor for him. As now you're going to be picked up 94 feet and he's going to give you trouble consistently on the offensive end. Kaden Gumbs really benefited from a really good summer with that JO3 EYBL team, and he's starting to pick up the offers that he's well deserved. And now there's some buzz coming out of that San Marcos area with him and Malik Presley leading the charge.
Number 28. I don't know if I mentioned Kaden Gumbs was number 17. Moving in number 28, Kordelius, Jefferson, Blue, hit on him.
Saw KJ for the first time. He was kind of a late addition in June to the summer team because he was nursing an injury. This guy is all over the place. From Arlington Martin, his head coach, John Osborne, was raving about him before as he was getting closer to returning to the court. And KJ is everything that Coach Osborne said. He's a passer. He's an athlete. He sees the floor. He can hit shots into open areas. He's a guy that is kind of a sleeper right now because there's not a whole lot. There's a couple of coaches that have already kind of seen it, and they had a game with me during the open period in July, and they're sneaking their way in there to Arlington Martin because he is a guy that can really move up, I think, over the next couple months when we do our next ranking. KJ at Jefferson is going to be a little bit of a sleeper right now at 28. People might be looking at it going, well, who is this guy? Well, get to know the name.
Yeah. 46, Ashton Hardaway made a big impression this weekend at the TFW Fall Classic. We had seen him, he just makes shots, timely shots. He's a good player. And what he's starting to do is it's all going to come together at Duncanville when I think, just those practices just make you a better player. And I think we're going to see Ashton Hardaway, because he's got the skill, continue to get better and better.
Yeah, and I don't think Duncanville needs any more X factors, but if you've seen even the way he's transitioned his body from when we saw him at TABC to this weekend's GASO Fall Classic. He's dropped some weight. He's gonna be a mismatch because he's already 6'5", 6'6", has a really solid frame on him, can score on the outside. We saw short corner. He had a really nice turnaround jumper, fadeaway. I mean, looked like the son of a former All NBA player, maybe like a Penny Hardaway or something. But you know, he just fits the part. He's able to mix it inside, high IQ, can pass the ball. I think he's gonna fit really well in that Duncanville system. And like I said, when they got studs and dudes all over the floor for Duncanville, you don't need another one like this. But I mean, he's gonna really help, and I mean, he's gonna make a lot of plays for him, scoring the ball.
Yeah. Number 55, TyShawn Archie. Loved watching this guy all summer long. He is smooth with the ball. He gets in, makes great decisions. He's a true point guard, and then when he needs to go get a bucket, he can. That Team Temple group was really fun to watch, that 16U in particular. I love TyShawn and what he brings to a team as the point guard, and I can't wait to see him in a high school setting. Number 74, Payton Chism. Dog.
Yeah, another point guard.
Yeah.
And so, you know, with Payton Chism, what you're getting is you're getting a point guard that can also score. And he loves to set up, get the ball past the timeline, and then get set up for a three-point shot. So you have to be ready defensively. And then when the defense figures it out, he's going to shoot it on me. Boom, he starts zipping passes, and he can really do that and see the floor. And he, as a point guard, he opens up the floor for his players because he can create and he can get the ball to his teammates that are cutting to the basket very easily.
And I think with him, you know, at a younger age, played with a lot of this top talent. You know, he was the lead guard for the Drive Nation EYBL team, playing with Ron and KJ and RJ Jones and those guys. So he knows how to be a true floor general, where he knows who the guys on his courts are on the court that need the ball. And that shows in the high school setting as well. He knows how to make the right play. He knows how to give confidence to his other teammates to get going.
And Mount Pleasant plays some defense, and we haven't even talked about he can crawl up underneath you and guard you and really pester you when you're bringing up the ball. Rounding out the show, number 82, TJ Ford. Blue, you loved him.
You know, hard to have that name TJ Ford when, you know, this is the second NBA player's son that we're talking about here. TJ Ford Jr. Over at from Houston. Let's not make him live up to what his dad was, you know, the Naismith Player of the Year and so forth at Texas. But what TJ's he's starting to kind of mature in his own way. He's developing. He obviously has a great teacher in his dad. And sitting there at 82, this is going to have to be his breakout year, and we can kind of see it a little bit. You saw it in some of the GASOs he played in, and then in the TABC when he's playing an individual event. You've seen the confidence, because I think the confidence comes with the maturity and the ability of thinking, I can go out there and I can beat this guy off the dribble, and that's what he does. He's beating guys off the dribble to get into the paint, hit little floaters, hit some runners, then sit there on the outside and hit some threes. It's kind of, the game's starting to rise and coming all together, so he should be a very interesting prospect here on out to see how high he can really go.
Absolutely.
That's going to wrap up the 2023 rankings. I wanted to make sure and tell you, we are coming out with another rankings in October. We wanted to get one out in September, and it's going to be much more into depth. Lot more kids on this list, so we're excited to announce those rankings in October. But make sure you're following us on social media at Texas Hoops GASO, and then you're subscribed on Texas Hoops TV to all the game recaps, the GASOcast, everything you want and more. We appreciate you, and thank you for your time.